This, you move to a new country, you don't know the customs, you certainly don't speak the language, and you may not have a lot of job skills. So it is for many immigrants in Cincinnati. In our continuing investigation of child poverty, Cincinnati's crisis, Local 12 News reporter Jeff Hirsch looks at the challenges facing immigrants as they try to make a better life.
Here at Hartwell Elementary School, some of the after-school tutoring is in English.
Do you know what all these terms mean?
And some is in Spanish.
¿Necesitas un lápiz?
This tutoring program and others for adults
today.
are run by the Su Casa Hispanic Center, an agency of Catholic charities. Su Casa means your house in Spanish. Most Cincinnati immigrants are Latinos, but there are others, some from refugee camps in places like Bhutan, Eritrea, the Congo, Somalia, Sudan, and Syria, now learning English in Cincinnati.
Underline the word you hear.
The immigrant families are here escaping situations of extreme poverty, to situations of violence, situations in which they don't have other choice, they cannot feed their children.
Many of those children are at Hartwell, where 100% of the students get free or reduced price lunch due to low family income. The changing demographics here at Hartwell School have been dramatic and they have been fast. A decade ago, there were maybe 5 or 10 students in the entire building who spoke English as a second language. Now, there are more than 150, 25% of the entire student population. 2/3 of those students are Latino from Mexico and lately from Guatemala, Honduras, and El Salvador. The rest, well as immigrant children, are primarily from Senegal, Nepal, and Saudi Arabia. Wherever they're from, the key to escaping poverty is education and learning English.
It's absolutely critical, especially for these younger students, that they start to become comfortable with English from an early age. We know that students who are able to read in both English and Spanish from an early age are much more likely to be successful as they progress in their academic career.
For parents, classes at Su Casa include not only English, but services like job connections, legal referrals, and basic information on things we take for granted, like how to take the bus.
Put yourself in the shoes of an immigrant. If you are new in a city, if you are new in a town, sometimes you're going to need some guidance or where to go for services, how to access a doctor, how to access a lawyer, understanding the different dynamics of the society in which you are new.
Census figures show 57,000 Hispanics in the metropolitan area, although there may be 25,000 more undocumented immigrants. At Su Casa, they help, no questions asked, 3,000 households a year.
We're here to serve the poor, to protect the vulnerable, to welcome the stranger.
Hispanics make up only 3% of Ohio's population, but may be the state's fastest growing group. In Hamilton County, for example, Hispanic population quadrupled over 20 years. Many come to Su Casa for emergency services, food, finding a job.
En primer lugar, mi nombre es Fernando Velázquez Morales, soy de Guatemala
Fernando Velázquez is from Guatemala.
y me vine para
I came here to help my family in Guatemala to find work and to send money home.
Velázquez has worked, but he's now unemployed with a child on the way. In Ohio, child poverty for Hispanics is more than double what it is for non-Hispanic white children, 39% versus 18%. So Fernando Velázquez wants a job and he wants it here.
me gusta estar aquí en Cincinnati.
Yes, I like Cincinnati very much.
Tengo 9 años viviendo en Cincinnati, Ohio.
Maria Zuniga is from Mexico and has lived in Cincinnati for 9 years. Same job as a restaurant cook the whole time. Maria speaks very good English, but felt more comfortable doing our interview in Spanish at Su Casa, where she's been in several programs. Maria's teenage son goes to school in Princeton, where diversity is reality.
No sé si en todas las
And not all schools offer the same services. So before, her son attended a school in Loveland, and there was no one really to communicate with her in Spanish. Now, where they are, probably because she says there are so many other Hispanic Latino students at Princeton, there are meetings for parents that are offered in Spanish, and they do try to involve the parents in their education.
As the national political debate plays out, the fact is there are thousands of immigrant children in Ohio who need to be educated. That need is great. The results can be greater.
Just the other day, we were talking with a kid who came in to tutoring after school and said, I just got my first 100. So I definitely think that progress is being made.
Jeff Hirsch, Local 12 News.
Su Casa says its biggest need is for more books and school supplies which children can take home to study on their own time.
School children who learn English often teach their parents as well. Local12.com has a special section featuring all the stories from our series Childhood Poverty, Cincinnati's Crisis, and you can find it under the News tab, which is at the top left of the homepage.